Hi there and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to jump on and talk about booking air travel. So a few things, kind of the top 6 things that I do when I'm looking to book a flight, and then some hacks at the end around what I've done up till now that have helped me out. So wanted to say first that I do have a loyalty airline that I fly with. I have a credit card that accumulates points. I have status with them. I tend to look at them first when I'm flying specifically in North America, Canada, or into the US. With my loyalty, again, I have status, so I have zone 2 boarding, I get free seat selection, I have lounge access. And so this works for me because I have points that I'm able to use. And if I do have to cancel or shift my itinerary for whatever reason, I have the opportunity to put that into banked credits for the future. If I'm flying international, I have no more allegiance. I am then looking at whatever airline best suits the itinerary for the best cost. And that's basically what I'll look at. So I mentioned in a short recently, but my way of booking airlines is always to, well, one, nail down the itinerary that I like and the best price that I'm able to work within. And my itinerary criteria is usually, obviously, the shortest duration, what the layovers look like if I have to connect, departure time, all of those things. Now, I don't like to have a tight layover. So under an hour stresses me out because getting around the airport, or if there's any delay in departure, that makes it quite risky. And over 3 hours is also not ideal. So I try to have that sweet spot between an hour and 2.5 hours. That gives me time to get off in the airport, walk around, be relaxed while I get to my next gate and next flight. That's not always possible, but that's one of my criteria. Now, I always book 2 one-way tickets. I rarely, if ever anymore, book a return flight. I have found that to be less expensive in a lot of cases. I have more flexibility. I can book my one way based on the airline that is, the cheapest or has a really good itinerary, durations, etc. And then I book my home looking at that isolated as well with the same criteria. I can use 2 different carriers. I don't have to have the same airline that is going and coming. And if I have to cancel or adjust my departure date or return date, I'm able to do so with ease without it impacting my entire itinerary. So that is my new go-to. I really recommend you try it, or at least compare a return flight with 2 one-way tickets. I always book a fare that allows me to change or cancel. Now that's just me. I travel a lot. My partner lives in Michigan. We both travel. We are often finding that we've booked so far in advance, sometimes the days shift slightly or our commitment to be able to go has changed. I also find when I book far in advance, sometimes I can get a better flight or itinerary for low cost. So I always book like the flex fare with my carrier. It does cost me a little bit more initially, but it gives me more flexibility. I can cancel, I can change flights with no change fee, and I have full refund when I cancel that either goes back to my credit card or to points that I can use in the future. I always select my seat. So regardless if I'm flying with another airline that's not my usual, or if I am flying economy or premium, I always select my seat when I am booking my flight. Or if tickets have been issued on my behalf, I will go in immediately after and select my seat. Like, gone are the days when you can wait till 24 hours before check-in and still get a reasonable seat. I find anything at that point left is a middle seat only. And another little hack is if I'm traveling with someone, I will book the aisle seat and the window seat, which leaves the middle seat open. And right before the flight is about to go, you can always go in and see the seat selection and what's still available. But if somebody comes into the flight and they're sitting in the middle, they'll easily exchange with you to have window or aisle because they're way more appealing. So there's kind of no loss in doing that. And if it's not a full flight, often that middle seat will remain empty. I usually book economy seats. They're most affordable. Even when I'm booking the front few rows that are sometimes a little bit more premium, they're not the premium section, but they cost a little bit more, I will book economy. I will pre-select my seat. But then given the flight and where I'm going, how long it is, I will often go in and look at if I can bid on a better seat or a different cabin, for instance, premium, leading up to the flight. And that gives me a little bit of boundary on how much I'm paying or how much I'm willing to pay to do that. Usually if it's over 7 hours, I will pay the extra to fly premium. I'm just at the point in my life where I want to be comfortable. I want the comforts of smaller cabin, less people using the washroom, pillow, blanket, more comfortable seats. So, you know, that is my criteria. If I'm flying 8 hours, etc., I will usually budget to book the premium flights. Now, a few hacks. When I am booking anywhere, I'll go into Skyscanner or Google Flights, Flight Hub, those, and I'll find really good flights or itineraries that I'm looking for, but then I will always go directly to the airline and book. I never book through a third party. I have done that in the past and I've been burnt, because if there is an adjustment, cancellations or adjustments need to be made, you can't go through the airline. They require you to go through the third party and it's not convenient. Once my tickets are booked, I like to have it on the app to be able to move around, change seats, check in, get boarding pass, everything done on the app. So check it out by a third party and kind of figure out what flights you want with which airline and then go to the airline directly and book. I do have a Nexus card. I travel into the US and back to Canada often. So Nexus has been amazing for me. You know, low cost, $50 for, I think it's 5 years. It has saved me so many times. The lineup's virtually empty. And even driving, when I fly into London, etc., and drive down, there's a Nexus line. I love it and highly recommend it. Again, I'm a carry-on girl. I like my carry-on. It's just easy, no cost. I walk in, I've got my boarding pass already on my app. I've got my carry-on, go through security and I'm done. No waiting for bags when I get home. Sometimes that takes so long. Carry-on it is. And lounge access. So where I'm at with my airline, I actually get lounge access often, but I also, in the past, I've had a American Express card that offered me lounge passes over the world and a priority pass that does that. I actually like to do that. Sometimes I do the ROI on if it's worth it or not, but when I have long layovers, it is very nice to be able to get into a lounge, have comfortable seats, have a variety of food and drinks that are available for you, plugins, Wi-Fi, all the comforts. And I have found for me, that is something that I enjoy. You can also pay in a lot of cases to get into the lounge. I'm not sure what the rates are, but maybe $50 to bring in an extra person or to go in yourself. And depending how long you're in a layover, that could be well worth it because food and drink in the airport is very expensive and adds up fast. Finally, I have learned the hard way as well that if I'm going through, most security places make you take off boots if it's over the ankle, whereas shoes, they let you go through these days. And honestly, it changes so fast what the rules are, but I've been aware of that the last few times. When I'm wearing my boots, they make me take them off, and with my runners or smaller shoes, I don't have to. So that is another consideration that I pay attention to now when I'm booking. So just some tricks and tips on booking your next flight. I hope you're booking a next flight soon because it's always fun to have a trip to look forward to, something in the queue, and hopefully you learned something today. Check out my other videos on packing and travel hacks. Talk to you soon.